Join us and discover beautiful beaches, rugged landscapes, pretty towns, desolate mountain ranges that sweep down to stunning lakes, unique architecture, history and folklore, no shamrocks, no shillelaghs, and definitely no shenanigans, just naked Ireland. Now there are two places called Aughrim in Ireland. Perhaps the most famous is the one in County Galway, where an epic bloody battle took place on the 12th of July of 1691 during the Williamite Wars, in which 7,000 people died. That place is obviously worthy of a Naked Ireland film in itself, so watch out for that. But the Aughrim we're visiting today was another hotbed of rebellious activity a century later. And there was one particular participant that I'd like to draw attention to. Our Aughrim today is situated in the rugged beauty of County Wicklow, in a scenic valley in the Wicklow Mountains. It's as pretty as a picture, but this place, at the end of the 18th century, bore witness to the growing unrest among Ireland's rural population. The 1798 rebellion is remembered here, as in other Irish towns, and this impressive monument recognises the debt owed to the United Irishmen of the 1798 Rising. The United Irishmen, for those of you living outside Ireland, were a revolutionary group seeking to unite Catholics and Protestants in a common struggle against British rule. In fact, the bridge we'll see in a minute was the site of an engagement between these Irish rebels and the Crown forces. Now, as we admire the beauty of this little place, and its now thoroughly peaceful and idyllic setting, it was against this backdrop that a young Anne Devlin came of age, deeply influenced by the injustice and violence inflicted upon her community in the late 18th century. Anne Devlin, a name etched into Irish history, stands for many as a symbol of resilience, loyalty and unflinching patriotism. Born in 1780, near this very spot, her life unfolded during one of the most turbulent and transformative periods in Ireland's past. Though she was only 18 during the 1798 rebellion, Anne would later become most closely associated with its ideological successor, the failed 1803 uprising led by Robert Emmet. By that time, Devlin had entered into Emmet's service as a housekeeper in Dublin, though in truth she played a far more critical and dangerous role as a trusted confidant and active participant in the planning of the insurrection. I'm sure you're thinking, this is a dream place to live, and it is, but the Aughrim that Anne Devlin knew was a very different place. And perhaps my recounting of young Anne's life and challenges is highlighted all the more in sharp contrast to these scenes of bucolic beauty and middle-class Irish rural life. Her own father, who played no part in the rebellion and who dutifully continued to pay the rent on his farm, was taken from here to Wicklow prison, where he remained for 2.5 years, relying on Anne to bring food once every 2 weeks. With her cousin, Michael Dwyer, who commanded a guerrilla force here in the Wicklow Mountains, she exhumed the bodies of dead rebels from the 1798 conflict and reinterred them. But Robert Emmet, whose revolutionary fervour sought to ignite a second wave of rebellion, relied heavily on Devlin's courage and discretion. She acted as a messenger, a coordinator, helping to secure arms and maintain secrecy in the face of growing surveillance by British authorities. The 1803 Rising was a disaster. Emmet's plans were thwarted, the rebellion was crushed almost immediately, and Emmet himself was captured, tried and hanged. In the crackdown that followed, Anne Devlin was arrested and subjected to brutal interrogation. The authorities, desperate to break the remnants of the rebel network, imprisoned her in Kilmainham jail and subjected her to inhumane treatment. She was starved, physically abused and psychologically tormented. Her family suffered reprisals and her young brother was killed during the crackdown. And yet Anne never betrayed Emmet or any of her compatriots. Her silence was a profound act of resistance. In a time when Ireland was gripped by fear and betrayal, her refusal to speak marked her as a woman of extraordinary courage. She remained in prison for nearly 3 years without charge. eventually released due to public pressure, but her health was permanently broken. And this is the bridge of the town's 1798 conflict, and we see here a plaque to mark the spot. It's hard to imagine such terrible violence in such a beautiful location. Anne Devlin's later life was marked by poverty and obscurity. She worked as a laundress and struggled to support herself, largely forgotten by the society she had risked everything to liberate. Only in the later decades of the 19th century was her role in the struggle properly recognised, thanks to the efforts of historians and nationalists who saw her as the embodiment of Irish resilience. Here we see her commemoration alongside that of Robert Emmet and her cousin Michael Dwyer. In the context of Aughrim and Wicklow, Anne Devlin's life bridges the gap between the 1798 rebellion and the ongoing resistance that would shape Irish identity for generations. Her story is one of unheralded heroism, a woman from a small Wicklow village who stood firm against the might of empire and whose spirit endures as a beacon of Irish patriotism. In Ireland, these stone bridges and these picturesque towns and villages are, yes, great tourist sites and places of immense beauty, but even in a small sleepy place like Aughrim in County Wicklow, there's so much more significance written into each contour of the earth and each wind in the road. I found this memorial interesting too. Andy Allen, the memory man, perhaps not quite the legacy of Anne Devlin, but worth remembering just the same. And here's where we are, in case you should want to seek out this lovely place, either for pilgrimage or just to stroll around and admire it, history aside. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, very important to the future of the channel, so help me out please. And if the channel entertains, educates in any small way, or just really tickles your fancy, buy me a pint. A donation in pint form can be given via the link in the second paragraph of the description beneath this video. Click on the link and you might as well be standing in the bar with me. Every donation helps so much, and if you're a regular watcher, perhaps you'll appreciate that it's all put to good use in creating this content. What I mean is, I don't really drink all the donations. Share the video with your friends and fellow Irelandophiles as well, if I can coin that phrase. And thank you so much for joining me in this commemoration of an amazing and heroic woman. And of course, in this visit to another lovely Irish town. And hey, guess what? I'll see you all in the next Naked Ireland video.